Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Micks Mowers. In today's episode we're going to take a little gander at this. This is a Briggs & Stratton flathead 3.5 carburettor that we all know and love. However, this carburettor was purchased by myself and at the time of purchase it was the cheapest carburettor I could find on Amazon. Came out about £4.20. So I'm not expecting big things from it. I have already noticed that the few differences is that the little tiny screws you get with it, they're not tapered at the end, and also the little tiny spring inside it here is about 4 or 5 mil longer than a genuine. And also the only other difference is there's no gauze sleeve on this. You get a little tiny cap which removes like so. If I can get it off, there it is. And you get little tiny gauze on there, and the actual plastic main jet is actually brass on this one. So they're the differences that I have noticed off the bat. There are a few other little niggly bits that I found with a carburettor. Number one, the little tiny gasket that goes on the top, I got it on here, it didn't fit, I had to just trim it, which is no biggie. And the air crankcase breather is a little bit different as well, a bit more flimsy up than the genuine. But apart from that, it all looks like it's there. So what I want to do is fit it to the Hater 41 that I showed in a previous video. I'll show you it running first so you can see it actually running. And then all we're going to do is do a tank swap, a carburettor swap on this, and see if there's any differences, because if you can buy a carburettor for £4, you're on a winner. However, it may be no good at all and only good for the bin. So if this is your first time you're watching Micks Mowers, hit the subscribe button, whack your bell, set notifications to all. That way you'll be told when I've done a video, or two, I'm on my Saturday night wiki live stream, which starts at 6:30 PM UK time. So without further ado, let's get down and dirty and let's try and test this £4 carburettor. Right, so here's a Hater 41 that I did this the other week. Since you've seen the video, I've given the deck a good clean, blades been sharpened and balanced, new pull cord as well, and I've sprayed the pull cord assembly, and it'll be up for sale. So this has been started today already. Couple of primes, pull the dead man in, and there you go. It runs without fault. It runs absolutely A1. So super happy with that. However, what would it run like with a £4 carburettor on it? Let's have a look. Right, so here's the Hater 41, and all we're going to do is remove the air filter. Now I could just change over the whole tank, you know, but I want to do like a fair comparison. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the tank off of the machine. So on a 3/8.5 inch. And I then just want to swap over the carburettor with the gasket. Now the gasket and diaphragm on here is already new, because I did it as part of a service. So let's undo that one there. You're right in the way, but I'll work around you. So now we're going to remove this tank. Come on baby, I'll take that half inch out, that might help me. Take that off, and we're going to remove the tank off of here. And now all we're going to do is we're going to undo this, these 4 or 5 screws, and put the other one on. So let me just shove you back a little tiny bit, give me a bit more room to work with. There's the new carby. Let's make a bit of room. Make a bit of room. I have a bit of a tidy up. I've been flat out in here today, absolutely flat out, which is always nice. Okay, so I've got the old carb off, the old tank off. So just going to undo these 5 screws, very simply. Just run them off, and then what I want to do is just do a straight swap. So this carburettor on here is genuine, and it's got a genuine Briggs & Stratton diaphragm, and the machine runs without fault. And the other carburettor is brand new out the box. So carburetor now lifts off, like so. I'll put that to one side because that's a good carburetor. I don't want to get confused with anything else. I'll put that just in there for now. And here's our new carby, straight out the old packet. Let's fit this to it. Quite a tight old fit too. That's a mega tight fit. I'm going now. What? Oh my lord! I don't even fit inside the tank. Oh, it does. Here it goes. Just. You've got to put it in on an angle. So let's just make sure that spring is correct first. Make sure it's all the way down, which is not. I did take it off. Let's wind that on there a little bit. That's better. Right. Okay. So now let's put that into there. That all now sits down roughly where it needs to. Now the difference is, I say, these springs, these screws on here are not tapered. Just go a bit easy, I think, just until they find their way down. Because what you don't want to do is wreck the old the gasket and diaphragm. Is that going or not? That one's not going. That one is. Yeah, that one's going. Once you get a few in, they should bite down. That one doesn't want to go. It's going now. So we'll screw these down. Got one here to do. Now he's got little tiny spring washers underneath these screws. Well, that is damp tight, as you all know, but they've got to be down. So just going around, I'm just going to nick these up, make sure they are down relatively tight. Wouldn't it be great if it ran lovely without fault, because then you've got a carburetor for £4. It's a bit of fuel in this tank. Let's open your throttle up. Might put a bit more fuel in here, maybe. You don't want to prime very well. I'll grab a bit of fuel. 2 ticks. So that's priming lovely. Okay, good. So now what we're going to do, we're now going to fit this back to the machine. Oh, we've got the old bit off the old carby there. Let's hook up the old linkage. Oh, is that going to fit in there or not? It's tight. It goes on. So put the crankcase breather pipe on. That goes on. There it goes, that's gone. Right, that's all gone on. So now we can now put the 3/8 back in. Followed by the 1/2 inch. I'm not seeing no problems as of yet, but it primed really well. Can't get me 1/2 inch in. It's got to lift up quite a bit. There it goes, that's better. There's the 1/2 inch. And the 3/8 on the front. Now the other thing I did notice also was the airbox on this didn't actually fit. This is too wide, and I had to put a little tiny chainsaw file around here just to get this to fit onto there. So that didn't fit also. That's something else to remember. I don't know if a metal one will fit it. No, a metal one doesn't fit. So you're going to have to change it over for a plastic one and do a bit of filing. But that's something you can do, right? So let's put that in there. Do that up. So there are some slight differences in there. But all in all, we've got a priming carburetor that's not leaking. Let's take it outside, give it a run, and see what we think. If it runs, and it runs without fault, then we're on a winner, right? £4 carburetor. which is better than spending, how much is a genuine Briggs & Stratton flathead carburetor? 25 quid, 30 quid, somewhere in there, depends where you get it from. So hopefully we can do something with that. So I'll meet you back outside and we'll go for a fire up and see if this machine now runs the same, better or worse than the genuine carburetor. Right, I've just set the camera up, so I'm going to go back and get the old mower off the table, and I don't want you guys to think that I'm cutting corners or pre-started it or fiddled with it. I've done nothing to it other than what you just seen me do. Let me get the mower out. Here it comes. Right, where are you? You're over there. Right, let's get you in shot. Somewhere there, Mick. And we're going to fire this carburetor up now, and this is the £4 carburetor, okay? So let's just fire that up. 1, 2, 3. Give it a pull, see what happens. Well, there's your answer to that. Now, I'm suspecting it's the spring. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back into the shed. I'm going to take that carburetor back off, but I'm going to put the genuine spring inside that carburetor, because that one is about 4mm longer than the other one. I want to try that first before I can write this carburetor off. But at the moment, if you was just a Joe Bloggs looking to have a quick cheap turnaround, that's what we're getting, really bad running. So back into the shop quickly, I'll take the spring out and put the genuine spring in under the diaphragm and come back to see if it makes any difference. Right, I'm back. So I haven't done the spring yet. When I took the carburetor off, I noticed that the gasket had a rip in it where the screw had gone in. Now, if you remember what I said, the screws on these don't have a taper at the end. So as I wound the screw in, it caught the gasket. So I had put another gasket on, and I was very, very careful putting the screws back in. So hopefully we're going to try that now and see what happens. See what the difference is. Because a gasket will make all the difference. Okay, so it runs pretty good. But there was a slight pickup on the revs initially. It was a bit low, then it picked up over high, and then it settled down. I'm wondering if that spring underneath, that's 4mm too long, is stretching that diaphragm already. Hunting, picks up, and it settles. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take it back off again, and I'm going to put the genuine screws in this time, and I'm going to put the genuine spring in to see if that makes any difference at all. Right, so now what I've done is I've put the original Briggs & Stratton screws in, because they have a slight taper and they sit inside the thread holes before you screw them up. So I've done that, and also I have taken the old spring out of a genuine carburetor and swapped it over. I did notice the difference was about 4mm in length, and also on the new one the spring had about an extra 1.5 turns on the spring each side compared to a genuine Briggs, which only has 2 coils on it. Okay, now remember what the old one it was doing beforehand. It was missing a little bit to begin with, then the revs went very high, and then it settled down. So hopefully with doing this alteration now, by changing the spring over, it's not pushing so much on that diaphragm, so hopefully we might have cured it. Let's see. 3 pumps. Let's see if it runs any better or worse. Perfect. So we had no missing, we had no high revs, and that it settled down straight away, straight from idle. Bit of jigging about, bit of rocking, trying to introduce some bad behaviour. It's running A1. I will put a tie on this and just run it to see if it does pack up after a little while, but it seems to be running exactly as it should do. Let's just drop the dead man quickly and bring it back in. Give it another run, as I say, and I'll test it tomorrow morning, but I think that'll be fine with that new carburetor on it. There you go. Okay, so there's a little comparison video. Now, my recommendation is don't bother, because you're wasting your money. After doing lots of little tiny bits and pieces with it, after the video, I did give it a run, and it started to hunt quite badly, and I couldn't get it to settle down. Since then, I've now put the original carburetor back on it, with a brand new diaphragm and gasket, because I believe that spring has actually warped that diaphragm, so to speak. It's made it saggy. I put another diaphragm back on it, and it's now outside doing its test, and it's not missing a beat at the moment. So my advice to you, save yourself £4 and don't do it. Buy yourself a genuine Briggs & Stratton carburetor, genuine Briggs & Stratton diaphragm, and you'll have no problems. But just a quick little video for you there, do a little comparison of the two, see if it's actually worth doing or not. However, someone else might do a video on it and may have success, but for how long? Especially if you're selling these machines, you don't want these machines coming back a bit later on. If this is the first time you're watching Micks Mowers, hit the subscribe button, whack your bell, set notifications to all. That way you'll be told when I've done a video, or 2 of them on my Saturday night wiki live stream, which starts at 6:30 PM UK time. I look forward to the next episode of Micks Mowers very, very soon. But until then, people, don't forget, much more importantly, take her easy.